Here are 24 things you need to know before visiting Thailand. Overall, we spent a total of 7 months in Thailand and we absolutely love it. It's become one of our favourite countries.
But there definitely is things that you need to know that will make your trip to Thailand even better. So in this video we're going to be covering a variety of different topics that are just good to know before going to Thailand.
So let's get into the list. We're going to start with visas. Before arriving into Thailand, it's advised to check the visa situation required for the passport that you have. Because we're Irish, we were able to get a 45-day visa free on arrival.
It couldn't have been any easier getting through here. We got a visa on arrival for 45 days, which we didn't have to pay for or apply for or anything.
However, that has been reverted back to 30 days on arrival. A 30-day visa is going to be the case for most visitors now, but just check that beforehand. If you do plan on staying longer, there is options to extend your visa, or if you know before you go how long you're going to stay, you can apply for a longer visa, but you just have to make sure to do that before you actually arrive into Thailand. We actually kept extending our visa, but if we had known that we were going to stay as long as we were going to before we went to Thailand, we would have applied for the longer visa. So yeah, just keep that in mind.
Next up is when is the best time to visit Thailand? Basically you have dry season, which is around November to March. So we stayed in Thailand from December to the beginning of May and we didn't witness much rain at all. Towards the end of April coming into May, we had a few days of rain, but nothing too crazy. Lashing. But when we returned to Thailand a few months later in September, it rained quite a lot. We usually drive a scooter in Thailand, so sometimes you can get caught in the rain quite a bit.
Ah, the rain is coming!
This might have been a huge mistake. There is some benefits to visiting Thailand in rainy season, as a lot of things will be cheaper. Having been in Thailand for both seasons, dry season is definitely our preferred choice.
Next up, your Thailand itinerary. Planning your trip to Thailand is such a fun thing to do. It'll get you so excited about all the amazing places that you're going to see and things that you're going to do. However, there's literally so many places to visit, so if you're pressed for time, it might be an idea to plan out your trip. This way you can have your tours booked, your ferries booked, or flights, and whatever else that you need to book. During our stay, we spent some time in Bangkok. We went to the north to Chiang Mai. We also visited some of the off-beaten track places in central Thailand as well. We spent some time in the Gulf of Thailand visiting Koh Samui. We spent some time in Phuket, and we also visited Krabi. We got to visit a lot of the islands in and around these places. We did make another video on the top things to do in Thailand, which you should also check out. We'll link that below. But basically, if you're flying into Thailand, it's very likely that you'll fly into Bangkok, which is a fantastic place to start. Now, if your Thailand trip is only about Thai islands, then maybe flying into Phuket could be a better option.
The next one is for those specifically arriving into Bangkok. How do I get from the airport to the city? The tendency for most tourists is to get a taxi from the airport into the city of Bangkok. That's what most people do when they land in a new country. We do it ourselves when we arrive into a place that we've never been before, but not in Thailand and not in Bangkok. The train system here is amazing, and there is a link that will bring you directly into the city for a fraction of the price, and it's very, very easy to use. We recommend this instead of using a taxi. When you arrive into the airport, the train station is on the bottom floor. Airport rail link, that's what we need, right? Bottom floor, let's go. So if you make your way down to there, you'll be able to make your way into the city.
Number 5, SIM cards. So you're going to want to stay connected when you're in Thailand, and it's very easy to get a SIM card right at the airport. You get a full data plan and it's really cheap. The network that we used is called True. It cost us around €20 and that was for 30 days with unlimited data. Now obviously we stayed longer than 30 days, so with True they have an app that you download and it's very easy to top up online. And to top up for another 30 days it only costs us around 250 baht, which is really cheap. And it's free calls to any network in Thailand, where we are by the way. And we've no network issues at all using True, so we'd highly recommend going with them.
Number 6, food. Possibly the best reason to visit Thailand. Thai food is incredible and some of the best food that we have ever tasted. There's so many options, and finding out new dishes as you travel around is amazing.
Wow.
Is it really?
It really is good, yes, it's so good. I love Thai food, it gets better and better, honestly. So good.
You need to get involved in the street food and the local markets. It's cheaper and it's so much more authentic than restaurants. If you come to Thailand to eat in Western restaurants, you're doing it wrong. You will find the likes of McDonald's, Burger King, Subway, all these Western chains here in Thailand, but try focus more on Thai street food. You can get a delicious Thai meal for as cheap as 50 baht, which is just over €1. It's insane. We genuinely feel now that Thai food is probably our favourite thing about Thailand.
Right, so empty bowls, not a drop left. That's how good it was, honestly. Okay, next up, transport in Thailand. Transport in Thailand is super easy, usually very cheap, and it comes in basically every form. If you're in Bangkok, the best way to get around is the BTS or SkyTrain. It's one of the best transport systems and we used it all of the time. Outside of Bangkok, for small journeys, you can use a tuk-tuk or a pre-booked taxi. If you're going from island to island, you'll need to book a ferry. For tours like that, we used Bookaway, which was really convenient. Sometimes flying is the better option. You can get a flight from Bangkok to Chiang Mai for around €50 and it only takes about an hour. Whereas an overnight train is much cheaper, but it can take like around 14 hours.
We made it!
The best way of getting around for us was definitely a scooter. It just gives you so much freedom and it's so much fun. Renting a scooter usually costs around 200 to 300 baht per day. Which brings us to our next topic, renting a scooter in Thailand. Now, I wish I could give you some definite information on this, but truth be told, it can be a little bit confusing. Technically, you do need certain documents for renting a scooter, like an international driver's license. Now, some scooter companies will still rent you a scooter without asking for anything. But your documents are for you if you're stopped by the police. We've gone through various checkpoints and sometimes they ask and sometimes they don't. But it's better to have it and we'll explain more in point number 9.
Number 9, scams in Thailand. Quite a common scam in Thailand is of course the police with foreigners and in particular scooters. You will notice how local Thai people ride their scooters much different to foreigners. For example, most Thais won't wear a helmet. However, if a foreigner is riding a scooter without a helmet, you can incur a fine. We actually have no issue with this because you should be wearing a helmet anyway. It's said that Thai police see foreigners on scooters as a way to make money from them, but I'm not really sure. We have never been scammed by the police, but we do know some people who have. So all in all, it's better to just play by the rules all the time, and hopefully you'll be fine. Another scam is the tuk-tuk scam, where they will hang outside a particular tourist attraction. When you arrive at this tourist attraction, they will tell you that it's closed, in a bid to try get you to get into their tuk-tuk so they can drive you around to different parts of the city.
Tomorrow we leave.
This particularly happens in Bangkok. This happened to us once, but we knew the score so we didn't get scammed. Scams are a funny one because we had heard it happens a lot, but yet it only happened to us once in 7 months.
Number 10 brings us nicely into, is Thailand safe? And the answer is a definite yes. It's incredibly safe. We have been to so many different types of places in Thailand. We've been out and about at all hours of the morning and nothing happens. It's amazing to feel so safe everywhere you go. At the beginning we thought maybe it was a tourist thing and we just weren't aware of anything happening, but no, 7 months in the country, 0 incidents. We didn't even see anything between other people. No fighting on the streets, no shouting, no nothing. It's like Thai people just treat everyone with such respect, and it's really amazing to see.
And we'll talk a little bit more about that in number 11. Respect Thai culture. Thai people are warm, welcoming and very friendly people. Please understand that English is their second language and sometimes we have seen some nasty interactions from foreigners in cases like this. We get that Thailand is for a lot of tourists a big party place, but it also needs to be respected. The culture here is very relaxed, very respectful, so anyone who visits Thailand, no matter how drunk they are, they should respect the people, respect the place and respect the culture. Religion is also taken very seriously here, so there's a lot of temples and you'll see some rules before entering that you will need to obey. You shouldn't also take selfies with any Buddha statues or monuments. These rules will generally be visible for people at the temple, so watch out for them and take them seriously. Also, if you use the BTS in Bangkok, please be quiet. In Asia, it's considered disrespectful to be loud on public transport. We actually love this one. Another one as well is if you're sitting down, don't put your feet up on anything. It's considered rude and disrespectful. It's funny how we're talking about Thai culture, but basically a lot of this is just basic manners. So yeah, if you're in Thailand, make sure you respect the culture.
We actually think the next subject is now part of Thai culture, and that is of course the 7-Eleven. 7-Elevens are found everywhere in Thailand and they're super convenient. You can find them anywhere, you can pretty much get anything in them, and they're going to be a big part of your Thailand travels. The only thing that we found annoying is they brought in a 200 baht limit to use your card to buy things. On our first trip to Thailand, this wasn't the case, but when we came back, they enforced this rule and it was really annoying. But yeah, 7-Eleven will definitely be your go-to in Thailand. The famous toasties are actually delicious. They're like 37 baht. You can pretty much get any toppings on them and you can get them at any time of the day. They toast them in the shop and they're a great snack to pick up.
Now you're probably wondering why a 200 baht limit just to use our card in 7-Eleven annoyed us so much. That's because the ATM fees here are crazy high. To withdraw money from an ATM in Thailand, it costs 200 baht. Now add on your bank fees and your conversion fees and it just becomes a small fortune. So if you can tap your card whenever possible, just do that. You're going to want to keep your cash for the local Thai markets anyway, so if you're staying for a longer period of time, you may want to consider opening up a bank account. We have heard that this can work, but yeah, the ATM fees are a nightmare.
On the topic of money, you'll want to know, how much will I spend in Thailand? Now, it's obviously hard for us to say exactly how much you'll spend, as everyone is different, so we can only really tell you what we paid for things. We rented an apartment in Bangkok for about a month and paid around €700. And we're just looking here, we're trying to spot our apartment. I can't actually see it, can you, Caolan?
I think it's...
But we're on the 12th floor, 12A. It's actually the 13th floor. But in Thailand, they think the number 13 is like very unlucky, so they don't actually call it 13.
It's superstition.
It's like superstition, yeah, it's 12A. We also had a pool and a gym, and the best part was it was a 2-minute walk from a BTS station. And as a side note, if you're thinking of renting in Bangkok, pick somewhere really close to a BTS station. We have lived in places close to a BTS and not so close to a BTS, and the difference to your life is huge. For food, if you eat local, you'd be paying as cheap as 40 bahts. But sometimes it can be around 80 or 90 bahts. But it's still far cheaper than going to restaurants. Beers are usually around 70 to 90 baht for a small beer, and about 130 baht for a large. Hotels again can vary, but you can find a really decent place for about 20 to 25 euros a night. Again, you can find cheaper. I think the cheapest we paid was about €14. So yeah, Thailand can be really cheap, but yeah, it can be really expensive. So it's definitely not as cheap as it once was. It still has this reputation of being crazy cheap, but it's definitely become more expensive. But in comparison to Europe or America, it's still much more affordable.
On the topic of accommodation, this is going to bring us to our next point: where to stay and how to book. For apartment rental, you can use Airbnb. For hotel bookings, you can use booking.com. That's generally what we do. But the cheapest way to get accommodation is either arriving without a booking and asking for a room. You could possibly negotiate. This doesn't always work, but it can sometimes. Another way to get a cheap apartment rental is also to get in with some local Thai people. Thai people will always find a better price. Remember, a foreigner will always pay more in Thailand. So our €700 apartment in Bangkok could be a lot cheaper if you became friendly with some local Thais. In fact, some of the local people laughed when we told them what we were paying for our apartment. So yeah, getting in with the locals will definitely have some benefits financially.
Next up, packing for Thailand. Less is more, trust us. There's no need to bring too much clothes to Thailand. It's not that type of trip. Everything you need is here already, so if you do need it, you can pick it up for a fraction of the price compared to back home.
Our Vans. Look, I'm actually wearing the same pair. Then today, 450 baht. That's the cheapest we've seen. Some are 300 baht.
In fact, if you're into your shopping, our advice would be to bring a big case, but keep it empty and fill it when you're leaving Thailand. You'll get some really, really good deals, especially on clothes in particular. Also, don't buy these expensive mosquito creams. They sell them over here and they're just as good and they're a lot cheaper. Obviously, sunblock, you're going to need that in Thailand, and you can get it really, really cheap as well over here. We also heard some things about feminine products not being sold in Thailand, but that is not true. They sell everything here.
Next up, we have drinking water, and can you drink the tap water in Thailand? The answer is no, you cannot drink the tap water in Thailand. You're going to have to get bottled water all the time. Also as well, if you're staying in a hotel or a guest house or a hostel, cheap or expensive, usually they will provide you with bottled water. I did hear, however, that the water in Bangkok is actually okay. It's actually the pipes and the tanks that aren't in great condition. So by the time it gets to your tap, it's been contaminated. So there you go. Fact of the day. That brings us nicely along to our next topic, food poisoning. Now, Thailand has a reputation for giving food poisoning for some visitors. We don't want to jinx anything, but in the 7 months of travel in Thailand, we had 0 issues. Now, I must also point out that we spent 3 months in India and also had 0 stomach issues. So maybe we're just built different, I don't know. Did we eat in places that looked horrendous? Absolutely not. But did we eat in local street markets? Yes, absolutely. Did we drink iced coffees? Yes, we did. Did we drink ice in our beer? Yes, we did as well, but we stopped doing that because it was beginning to water down the beer, so I wouldn't really recommend that. But that was more of a taste thing. I know some people who are over the top with this kind of thing and they still end up sick in bed for a week with stomach problems. From our experience, we're probably the average amount of safe with all of this sort of thing, and we're always fine.
Next up, travel vaccinations. So we got the following vaccinations as part of our Asia trip, but we're not really too sure how many you do actually need. I mean, probably the biggest danger could be from stray animals, but once you don't get involved, I mean, you should be okay. Same with monkeys as well. If you don't go near them, you keep yourself to yourself, well then you'll be fine. So yeah, we just think common sense plays a big role when it comes to animals. The only time that we actually felt that we could get sick was when we were in Chiang Mai and we went to the elephant sanctuary and we got in the river to wash the elephants and they were pooing in the river and we thought we were going to get some sort of disease maybe off them, but luckily we didn't. So we're not too sure if that was any of the vaccinations that helped us with that. Again, we don't know.
I'm not gonna lie, I can't get over the fact that there's balls of elephant just floating around a river that we're swimming in.
Lovely.
Do you think we might need to get tested after this?
So yeah, I don't know if it's a first time visitor thing and you just want to be extra safe and you're getting all the vaccinations that have been recommended to you. And yeah, we do know people that are living over in Thailand for the last 20 years and they don't bother with vaccinations, so it's completely up to you. I think if we were to go to Thailand again, we probably wouldn't get half of the vaccinations that we got the first time. But I suppose it's safe to be safe.
On the topic of elephants, the next one is, should you visit an elephant sanctuary in Thailand? Most people when they come to Thailand, they do want to see elephants, and the elephant is the national animal of the country. You will literally find an elephant on everything. But please make sure if you are visiting an elephant sanctuary that you make sure it is an ethical one. The mistreatment of elephants and exploitation for tourist entertainment still goes on in Thailand. But thankfully it's improving and it's down to these ethical sanctuaries thriving because tourists are now choosing more wisely. So please do your research before booking and choose the right one. When you see these beautiful creatures up close and free, you'll be delighted that you did.
Okay, so next up, travel insurance. So travel insurance is definitely something that you're going to want to need if you're visiting Thailand. We use Safety Wing, we left a link in the description below, so if you want to click the link and get a quote for your next trip.
Next on the list is alcohol in Thailand. Now Thailand is of course a very social country and going for drinks on the beach or in a relaxed bar is something most people are going to want to do on a trip to Thailand. But bear in mind, alcohol cannot be sold between the hours of 2 PM and 5 PM. Now we thought this was actually a religious thing, but apparently it's enforced by the government to stop excessive drinking. Because I'm not sure if you're aware, but Thais love to drink. We're Irish, so the stereotype is that we love to drink, but honestly if you go to Thailand, they love a drink over there.
Rapping in Thai.
They also stop selling alcohol at midnight, so no drink between 2 and 5 and after midnight. But you can still get some if you're drinking in a pub, a bar or a restaurant. Generally these rules apply to something like a 7-Eleven.
Cheers.
Okay, next is apps to use in Thailand. Grab is your transport friend in Thailand and Bolt too. You can order a Grab taxi, you can also order a Grab bike, so if you are one person you can actually ride on the back of a scooter and this comes in really handy in crazy Bangkok traffic. Grab also does food, so you can order something to your hotel. You can even order your morning coffee if you want. It's just a really good app to use in Thailand. So yeah, make sure you download it because you will definitely use it a lot. And another app that we mentioned earlier on was Bookaway, and that's really handy if you want to book ferries or buses, especially if you're on the likes of the islands. If you're going to be in Thailand for a long time like we were, Amazon doesn't work, but they do have an equivalent to Amazon which is called Lazada. So we actually did use that a couple of times and we ended up ordering a couple of bits and it's really, really cheap. Another few apps off the top of my head that probably everyone has downloaded on their phones already would be the likes of Google Translate, XE Money Exchange, and Google Maps of course to navigate your way around. We used Google Maps when we rented a scooter a lot and it works perfect.
Last on the list is of course the language barrier. So if you're coming to Thailand, you're going to want to know, do they speak English? You'll be glad to know that when you come to Thailand, English is spoken right throughout the country. Being a foreigner in Thailand is very easy when it comes to communication. Even over the phone, they know exactly what's going on. The only place that we found a real language barrier was in Phuket's Old Town. But other than that, after 7 months in Thailand, we had minimal issues. Even in a place like Ayutthaya or Lopburi, which aren't really huge tourist towns, it was still pretty good. So speaking English isn't going to be a problem in Thailand.
Okay, so that's it on our 24 things to know before you go to Thailand. So we hope you enjoyed the video and we also hope you found it really helpful. And if you did, of course, please give it a big fat thumbs up.
So like I said, we have been in Thailand for 7 months. We made various videos for our YouTube channel. We leave a playlist in the description below of all of our Thailand videos, so go check them out.
Also last week we made a video of the top things to do in Thailand, so you can also go and check that out. We will link it below. So if you're planning a trip around Southeast Asia, we're going to be making lots of more guides, so make sure you subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of it.
So once again, thanks for watching and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.